Now, here's a question for the next stage of the COVID-19 pandemic. Can company directors be found personally liable for bad decisions taken during the economic fallout from the global pandemic? And is there a way of mitigating this risk? Now, company directors and officers have been under great pressure to make decisions and deal with unknown outcomes. Tebogo Leshilo is the executive head of complex risks in the financial lines sector at SHA Risk Specialists and joins me now. Tebogo, you know, I suppose it's during a time like this when companies really begin to interrogate whether they're getting value for money in terms of their human resources and the kind of leadership that they've chosen to put to steer organizations.
Yes, Cathy, that is correct. One of the concerns that we do face at this moment is are directors and officers applying the correct duty of care as well as oversight in the manner in which they handle the fallout of the pandemic.
The question of personal liability becomes a complex one because I'm just wondering what is the criteria that would be used to hold somebody personally liable for the losses that a company experiences as a result of COVID-19, as a result of the fallout from COVID-19 rather.
So, Cathy, what we would be looking to see is what were the measures applied in the decision-making that companies have taken regarding various measures such as business continuity planning, as well as contingency measures that are put in place as we return to work. There could be additional issues relating to the management of a company's financial position or their risk of financial distress during the COVID-19 pandemic. In the event that there are allegations or actual wrongful acts committed by your directors and officers, we could see parties such as regulators, customers, as well as shareholders bring claims against your directors and officers for these wrongful acts.
So is it a question of just looking at people who might be doing the wrong thing during this time? Or is it a question of, well, this company was standing in a good position, it was a profitable organization last year, but perhaps it's now shut down, and every sector has been hit differently. So I'm just curious about whether or not those claims would in fact be fair on the individuals that are involved here.
When you accept the position of being a director and officer in respect of sitting on a company's board, there are various fiduciary duties which you agree to accept. This is as outlined by your Companies Act as well as some of the governance in the King Code. So the parties that we would be looking at claims being held against for any mismanagement would be the directors and officers. The concerns would relate, it's not necessarily clear-cut at the outset whether poor financial performance would result in a claim. We would need to satisfy the condition that there was a wrongful act that was perpetrated by the board in the conduct of their duties.